All right, welcome to the Davis Download. So glad to have you listening. We are going to talk about the three most important jobs in America, or at least what we think are the three most important jobs. So I'll kick it over to you guys.
Corey, lead us off. What do you got?
I'll put policeman up there,
Okay.
farmers, and then garbage men.
Interesting. All right. Make the case.
You keep the streets clean in the literal and metaphorical sense, and we got to eat somehow.
Okay.
So you're not for defunding the police then?
Nah. Nah.
Well, I'm going to have to disagree already for two of them. Yep. I'm going to say sanitation and farmers are not, I wouldn't say are the most important
Okay.
to society because pick up your own trash
Where are you
and
putting
then
it?
burn it. I don't care.
So every piece. Okay.
Um,
Okay.
So throw it in a hole. You know, there's a lot you could do with your own trash.
Okay. All right. That sounds like a great idea.
And then farming, like go out and grow your own beans.
Oh, that's outrageous, my guy. That's outrageous.
I'm just gonna say it.
You're not gonna have time to do anything else.
What do you mean?
What?
So here's why I
other than
disagree.
burning your trash nonstop, and then now on top of that, you're on a farm growing all
Corey,
of your own food.
I don't think you realize
That's the luck.
People burn their trash now.
That's some.
Yes.
In hillbilly country.
So I'm saying
Exactly. So you want everything to be hillbilly country.
people do it already. It's not like their lives are consumed with burning trash. Your family is not going to make that much trash.
But when everybody's doing it,
Yeah, but
if there's nobody to come and collect the trash for the whole of society, that it's going to be disgusting. It's going to be disgusting and dirty.
I agree it'll be dirty, but I don't think that those things are most needed for society to function.
So what do we need for society to function? Then please enlighten me.
I'm glad you asked me.
Because clearly you don't need food or cleanliness.
No,
so
again, I'm saying those things people can do individually.
just because we can do everything individually, if that's the argument, then no job is important because you can do everything individually.
No.
We could police ourselves as well.
You can't do everything
Yes, you can.
individually well. That's the thing. So you can take out your trash and you can have a fulfilled life. You could grow your own beans and have a fulfilled life.
What can't you do on your own and have a fulfilled life?
What can't you do? So what jobs I think would be the most important?
Yes.
I'm going to say one, judges, people that can judge over situations. You know, your neighbor disagrees with you. That one's pretty important.
No way.
I would say
Judges.
clergy, the church. You definitely need a moral beacon. And then my third one, I would probably say medical.
All right.
I think you have those three things, you can sustain a society.
Judges,
Get rid of
pastors, doctors. That's
Judges,
all you
pastors,
need.
doctors.
I don't know, man.
If
I don't
we had to
know.
boil it down to three jobs, I would say
Do
those
we-
jobs are the most.
Do we need pastors?
I think you do.
Why?
Jesus says so.
What do you mean? Jesus says? He's the high priest. He's got us covered.
Yes, but he institutes pastors and leaders of the church. So do we need them? I think.
Could you make the argument that it's not? It doesn't have to be a job.
Okay, it doesn't have to be a vocation, but I would say that's the pattern in Scripture. So I would say follow that.
Paul was a tent maker.
Yep, but he also was supported by the churches. So he says, I explicitly, right? He says, I could have commanded you to, but in that instance, he does not.
Okay. So when we say most important, are we talking about like every job stops and we have to pick three, or are we just like, I guess maybe I could have asked.
Yeah, I took it as the question as what are the most three important to the functioning of society?
Yeah, like essential.
Oh, then we definitely judges is crazy.
How is that
Judges
crazy?
is crazy.
How is that crazy?
Judges is
Listen.
crazy.
Otherwise, then everyone is doing whatever they want, right?
Not if you have police.
But then what are the police doing? They just throwing people in a hole?
That's what we're doing with trash, right?
But that's okay to do with trash. At least trash doesn't have, justice still needs to be brought about. If
So
you
I guess
just
either way, it's some type of law enforcement. Whether
Yeah, I
you
guess those two
catch
things
them
kind of go
on the
together.
front end or
Yeah,
I
the
guess those
back.
two things kind of go together.
yeah, I mean, if you didn't have police, you could still. This is gonna sound crazy until I finish the end of my point.
Okay.
But essentially, what you do is the mob brings the people to the judges, right? And you see that even
So
in,
you're for
wait,
mob.
let
You're
me
for
let
mob
me.
rule.
I said it was gonna be crazy until I finish. It's like that until they bring them. Think of the woman that's caught in adultery in the Bible. She's dragged by a mob to a judge, right? So they didn't necessarily bring about judgment, but they dragged her in. And Jesus says, "He that's without sin cast the first stone." And they're like, "All right, you're right. We're out." So the mob carries you in. You might be a little ruffled.
A little bit of an intimidation factor.
So you're pro mob.
Again,
Mob.
I'm not saying I'm pro mob. What I am saying though is apprehending bad people would be
I don't think so.
a job that could be.
No, that's
Could be
one
done.
scenario out of how many?
Yeah, I mean, most of human history probably. The mob just grabbed people and brought them in.
The mob just grabbed people and brought them in.
Yeah. I mean, the way we think of policing is a modern thing. So,
Okay.
like, think about it. Like, it wasn't a thing for most of human history. Yeah, you had, like, palace guards and things like that, militia people, but there wasn't a police force. So that's what I'm saying. In terms of running a society, think of the Romans. They didn't have a police force the way that we did, but
had a model society, right?
they had a pretty good. America, we modeled it after the Romans.
Their ideals. The day to day, not so much.
There's probably more of a military police force in a sense. I would think.
Yeah, yeah.
that.
And they just police like main things, like
Yeah.
the palace, borders, things like that. What you were doing, like if you got caught for stealing bread, the mob just grabbed you.
Yeah. And you could probably pay them to look the other way.
Exactly. You're like, hey, my man,
I
I'll give
guess.
you 3 loads that I steal from that guy.
I'm fine putting the legal system
That's
in
fine,
as
that's fine.
one department. I'm fine with that. What you got?
Here's my top 3. Okay, I agree. I think you have to have some type of, whether it be police force or some type of justice system. I guess whatever that looks like in this society. I think you have to have the builders. Like you need somebody. I can't build my own house. Like people say, yeah, I can do all these things by myself. Like if I'm building my house, it's gonna be like a few twigs and a tent tarp. I guess that's all I got. So I need a builder to be able to provide the hard, tangible skills of society.
Okay.
And I think that's general enough in the sense that okay, we have the buildings for work, the buildings for homes, stuff like that, and I guess even infrastructure you could categorize it with that as well for us to be able to move around town. And then yeah, I think you do need a moral compass for society. So I would say the clergy, in argument against the sanitation workers, which we love so much, we're so thankful for them, but I think, yeah, to a degree, a lot of it could be done on an individual level in the sense that we could, burn some things, hopefully. Although today so many things are made of plastic, there would probably be some issues there.
Thank you.
But people would be more mindful of the things that they buy.
No,
so if
they
I know
wouldn't.
I have to deal with my
No, they
trash,
wouldn't.
yeah, if I know I'm gonna have to take like I'm not gonna buy a big dresser that I know I'm only gonna use for a year. If I have to throw it away and get rid of it.
Yeah, that's true.
No,
Yeah, I think
No.
I think they would.
I just no. People would not be more because it would become normal to just have trash everywhere because nobody is cleaning it up. So you wouldn't be mindful of it. It would just be part of there's trash there.
See, I don't
Like that's what happens.
I mean, like think of like New York City without sanitation workers.
That's thank you. That's that you're making my
it,
point.
it would be crazy. I don't know the answer to this, but when did sanitation start in New York City? They didn't crumble. It had to have a start.
And, well, again, and before, and it wasn't great. They were drinking the sewage water. Like everything was getting everywhere. So, yes,
Yeah, I think that was more of a too many people in one location.
which we still have. So that's not changing. I forgot what I was gonna say, but yeah, I forgot what I was gonna say. I don't know.
To your point on farming, I think that with farmers, they are very, very important. But I do think kind of Eli's point as well, like with the garbage as well, that it could go on to the individual level. Like we could do more of it ourselves. Honestly, we should do more of it ourselves on a day-to-day basis. I believe every person should have their own garden.
Why?
I do. You should at least grow one thing.
Why?
Because it teaches you very important skills, not only about providing for yourself. I mean, we saw this in COVID, right? We saw this about when everything shuts down, and talking about essential jobs, very relevant to COVID too, right? During COVID, they told us these jobs are essential, these jobs are not. These jobs are what you can do, these jobs are what you can't. And so when the government's making that decision, who's to stop any future government from making those decisions and saying, look, you can't go to the grocery store anymore. That's a non-essential place for you to go. And so we should have some more self-sufficiency in that sense in providing for our daily needs. Not that you have to grow your own cattle or whatever like that and care for your own chickens, but that's great if you can. But I think these things are beneficial in the sense of I understand the process of what it takes for me to get the food that I need, and that if, worst case scenario came in, I could provide for myself and for my family to a degree, to an extent. And then also, it's much healthier. You look at the pesticides and insecticides that they put on these things. It's so much healthier for you to grow it in your backyard. And then also you learn so many good skills that I think are transferable to other parts of life.
I guess my thing is, if the only argument is you could do it yourself, then that's essentially for every job. Like, if that's the only argument, I guess that's my point. Like, I get, could we grow our own food? Yeah, sure. Could we take care of our own trash? Yes. But all of these things we listed, you can make the argument, well, we could essentially do it ourselves.
Yes and no, because anytime you have, so again, back to judges, if me and you have a dispute,
we should be able to figure it out.
Could we figure it out?
Yes.
Maybe, but when hostilities are high, the last thing I'm thinking about is you, right? Any compromise is hard to have, right? But if I have a third party that can come in and say, yes, this is right and this is wrong. How many times have you had an argument where you walked away and you were like, I was wrong, but I wasn't going to let go?
But if your point stands with the trash thing, well, people would be more mindful. Then that point should stand.
No, because
that point would be the same. I'd be more mindful about when I get into issues.
Here's the difference. People are mindful of the things that affect them, right? So if I'm gonna have to
getting in disagreements don't affect you.
Let me finish. If I am gonna have to take out the trash, I don't want the negative consequence of having to take it away. But if I think that I'm right about a situation, I want to win it at all cost. So I need a different person to come in and say, hey, this is what I agree or disagree with. I would say to Josh's 3, the one I'm going to disagree with is the builders. Because going back to doing things yourself.
You yourself.
You could do it yourself.
You build your house.
No, I mean, obviously not the modern day houses that we have now. But if you think about it, most of human history, people just did it themselves. So
that doesn't mean it was good, though.
It was livable. It was livable. They could live.
So again, but the point, if the only argument is, so it sounds like the only 3 things you can't do on your own are the 3 things that you happen to say.
No, I mean, I think I am right, but
what a coincidence.
I'm saying going to the point of structure for a society. If you build a 4x4 house for yourself, society still goes on. But if there is no justice being dealt out, then what do? Society crumbles, right? If there's no people that understand the human body and that can do things like surgery and things like that, you can't do that on your own. You're bleeding out. You can't do that by yourself.
Well, what happened to your point? Most of society, the medicine we know now is relatively new.
So for most of human history, yes, there have been medical professions.
Yeah, but it was that's broken. Cut it off.
Well,
best of luck to you.
Their method may have been not the greatest, but the role was needed.
I'll agree with medical. Maybe we could trade. I would be willing to trade medical for sanitation.
Why?
You made a good point there. I'd be willing to trade that for sanitation.
Yeah, so I'm saying why would you give up sanitation? So you thought that was one of the most fundamentals. So why would you?
It's still it. Well, again, we're picking 3 out of a billion things. So if
I'm
you
saying,
can only pick 3, you're going to be left out with good jobs.
Yeah. I'm just trying to get to a point. What is the decision making that made you take away?
I probably couldn't put 3 screws in my own leg. I'm not that good at it.
Okay. So
could I have done it? Sure.
So what you're saying is there are roles that you can do on your own.
Yes.
Okay. So,
But if that's the only argument, but again, there's a lot more that goes into the human body, and we've made a lot of again, yeah, sure, fine. But again, if you really did need to operate on your, like, if there was no doctors, then there was no doctors. I think they would probably help society a little bit more than garbage, but I still think garbage is the number 4 or 5.
yeah.
Like, again, we're picking 3 out of how many types of jobs are there? 1,000. So obviously we're going to leave some good ones out.
Yeah.
So I'm willing to trade
Those two,
the
okay.
brain surgeon for the garbage man. But I still think the garbage man is not that far behind.
Yeah, he's a little bit down on my list. No offense to anyone
You
that does
say that
trash.
now, but if we took it away, it's one
because-
of those things you don't realize
so-
what you have until it's not there.
So you go to places like, I'm going to use India for an example because I was there. They got trash, at least in the countryside where I was. There was trash everywhere, right?
Yes.
People were living in trash.
Yes.
Society still went on.
But was it a good society?
I mean, they have, if you want to, I guess, what is your determiner of a good society?
A
Their
good
GDP
quality
is
of
up
life.
there.
A good quality of life.
You see what's interesting? The people that are the most happy are often people in the third world. Like, in terms of happiness metrics, people in the civilized world usually have a lower happiness index than those in the third world. They're living in trash, but they're happy.
Okay. Okay.
Do we have a bottom 3? That might be tough to come up with.
That
on the
don't
spot.
matter.
Bottom
the
3.
lowest jobs that we say, I got a couple here for you. I can't think of 3 right now.
That we
but
don't need.
That we don't need, that we could totally get rid of, and nothing would change in society. Here are mine, and Corey's going to go ballistic on this.
Okay.
Okay. The bottom, and maybe you can categorize these together. Entertainers and pro athletes. What do we need these people for? I love sports. Don't get me wrong. Okay, I love my Dallas Cowboys. I love sports. But the fact that these people are making millions upon millions of dollars, we've totally, like, societally, and this is a philosophical point, right? The great philosophers of ancient history talk about this. Like, a society should value the right people. That tells you whether a culture is healthy or not, right?
Yep.
Okay. And when we think about in our society, in American culture, what do we value the most? We value, as far as what we pay for, we value the most entertainers and pro athletes. You think of these pro athletes, they're making $20 million a year. You look at these baseball players, they're making $50 million a year. And all we're saying is entertain us. Hit that ball farther.
Yeah.
Throw that ball farther. Catch that ball higher. Shoot that ball from further away. And we're saying, yeah, we'll pay $20 million for that as a society. I'm not saying they're wrong for taking it. I'm just saying it's a reflection on our culture that says we value the wrong things. When we're paying pro athletes $20 million per year and we're paying teachers $50,000 per year, like the philosophical point says, we've inverted what we should be valuing here in American culture.
No disagreement from me.
So the point, I mean, it's just economics, right? It's just economics. A professional athlete, like, let's pick whatever, Patrick Mahomes. How many people have a job because people go, like, think of all the people who work in the state. Like, he provides his $20 million that he's getting. He's probably putting double back into the economy in terms of jobs, in terms of all of that. So it's, yeah, we value them because it's entertainment and it gives us a break and all that. And sure, if you want to make that argument, but, like, I don't think it's worthless. Like, I don't think art and entertainment and athletes and all that, I don't think that stuff is worthless.
I don't know if I'm making the argument that they're worthless. I think these are valuable people. I think they're people who are important people. They're made in the image of God. I'm just saying what
We
they
don't
do
need them.
in the grand scheme of society. If we didn't have football players today, would life still go on? Yeah, life would still go on.
I think so.
Think of how many countries around the world don't have a pro sports league or a pro sports team. There are plenty of them, and life still goes on. Again, athletics are fun and it's great, but my point is the prioritization has been totally misplaced in American culture, where our highest paid individuals in this country are in fact people who just entertain us for a few short hours, and then we get nothing tangible from them. Like, I can't say, man, I learned this or I received this from a pro sport athlete.
Well, I mean, you can learn things from sports.
Like
you
what?
learn
How to spin a ball?
You learn teamwork. You learn
Okay, when I engage in it,
overcoming
when I
adversity.
engage
You
in it,
learn
not
about
by
their
just watching it through the
stories.
glowing
I think
box.
he's right. If you're just a spectator,
I think
you don't
there's-
learn those things.
Yeah, I think there's more profit in joining a local club and getting engaged in a sports club than there is in watching it on
But
television.
why do we join those clubs? Because we see those guys do it on. So like, if you took out the professional sports, there would be no
But I'm saying there's
little leagues.
I'm saying there's yeah, there would. I'm saying there's the health benefit from it of exercising, of like you said, learning how to push through adversity. Of I struck out last time, I'm still going to get back in that box. And you're teaching children, and sure, even adults who play in adult leagues as well. They're teaching themselves, look, I need to in life. When I face a tough time, I need to step back in the box.
Okay,
right? When I watch Aaron Judge do it, although he's great and he's a great athlete, and I'm sure he's a great guy, it doesn't benefit me watching him get back in the batter's box after he struck out last time. What's it do for me?
I mean, sports is a big unifier of culture. It brings people together. It creates memories. It creates kind of this togetherness.
But
and
you
it
could
creates,
do that. You could do that.
But what else? What
myriad
else
of
would
different
do it?
ways.
How else? Give me some examples then. If we took out entertainment, like just before this, what did we spend 20 minutes talking about? Sports.
Yeah.
But you could talk about a whole host of things, right?
Give me a host.
I mean, if you if you are, so let's say you are, now we're farming. Now you're talking to your neighbor, hey, how did you grow
so we're just talking
your
about
beans?
work then. We're
How
just
did
talking
you
about
grow?
work.
Honestly, I think sometimes that is more beneficial because when we kind of have these like cavalier conversations that are about nothing, what is being accomplished? Nothing.
You're building. See, I don't.
but-
I don't
but
disagree with that.
I would say a conversation that builds on needs is a little bit more rooted than just haphazard. Oh, did you see this? Did you see that?
Yeah, but you create conversation, you create connection, you create relationship, you create all these things.
Again, I'm not denying the results of sports. Again, I think sports are very good and
Yeah.
very important, especially when you are engaged in them. My point is the observing of them, and I would say probably 90% of people who watch sports are just watching it on TV rather than actually being, if not 99%, having no involvement with the team whatsoever, no family member involved, no family member who's working for the team or whatever, something like that. And my point again is there's nothing tangible they're getting from the exercise, hence why they're in my bottom three.
I agree.
Okay. I just
Do we have any other
disagree.
examples of what would be in a bottom three? I said entertainers as well. I think you could probably put that with pro athletes in
Yeah.
the sense that
Yeah, movie stars, podcasters.
We cannot get rid of the podcasters. They are fundamental
Yeah,
They
to
most
Podcasters.
certainly are not. Oh, come
Podcasters,
on,
listen,
come
listen,
on,
listen,
dude.
listen,
Come
listen,
on.
listen.
Get outta
Yeah,
here.
Here's the thing. I see podcasters in a way, again, back to the philosophical argument, as kind of the ancient way of engaging with the marketplace of ideas.
Yep.
Where I think it's beneficial in this sense. I'm not saying that it's more important than a doctor, more important than even the garbage man or something like that. But I think the marketplace of ideas is so important, hence why we have freedom of speech in this country, right? And if we couldn't engage in ideas, if ideas were limited, if we can't have conversations with other people, I think the podcast environment has been very beneficial for society in that we can exchange, we can hear different perspectives from around the world, and then we can say whether this is a good idea and we should continue down this path or whether this is a terrible idea and we should critique it, we should attack the idea.
Yeah.
Excellent spin. I'll give it to you. Excellent spin. Excellent spin.
My first one to go, bottom of the rung, and I apologize. No, I don't. Fast food workers.
Ooh,
Get rid of fast food altogether. Society would be fine.
Chick-fil-A?
I love Chick-fil-A, but it will be my pleasure to let them know.
You gotta get rid of Chick-fil-A.
Again,
Do you just care about fun or enjoyment like at all? Like, you just want to get rid of anything good or anything fun or anything like, dude, what?
Boring society.
Yeah, you just want nothing.
listen, people would be healthier. You get rid of fast food, people are healthier. They're not. I mean, honestly.
But think of how many jobs that eliminates, though. Like
yeah,
there's a billion McDonald's restaurants. You figure they each have 10 people working in there.
Mm-hmm.
That's a lot of you were making the point about, hey, where are all these jobs then?
They are now at home working on the family farm so that the family
now
can eat.
sanitation workers.
I mean, honestly though, if you think about it, if every fast food restaurant closed right now, would the society collapse?
It would be a big weight.
It would. Well, it would be a big weight that people lose.
You think just shutting, like, think of how many people that is
You
that you're just eliminating
get-
from a job.
You would get rid of President Trump. He loved working at McDonald's for those 10 minutes.
Listen,
and Kamala Harris.
that
she
is
loved
true.
I
working-
Back
get
in
your
the day.
health. I get your health point is 100% heard. That's obviously a fact. You can't debate that. But in terms of the economy, that would. I don't want to
Would
say
it
it would
hurt?
devastate it, but that would be. We'd be talking recession.
would it hurt the wallet? Yes. But again, boiling it down to jobs that are essential to society functioning. No, I think we would bounce back. It would be hard. Like, you would lose a lot of jobs, and then there would be a bounce back, and people would live in the new normal, and they would say, "Man, I have to actually thaw the chicken this morning before I leave. I have to actually prepare a meal instead of running out." Now, I'm not saying that I never eat out. I do. Now, I probably eat out less than most Americans, because I probably go like 4 times a month. But I would say that could go first, and people would be fine.
I don't think you can get rid of fast food workers. I don't think you can do it because, to Corey's point, the volume is just unbelievable. I mean, just see the amount of people that go through a McDonald's or a Chick-fil-A in an hour, and you're just like, oh my god! Like, while you sit there and eat your meal, just kind of in the corner of your eye while you're having your conversation, just watch how many people go through the Chick-fil-A drive-thru.
And then look at the one across the street.
Yeah,
too.
It's crazy.
And then also, it's a good.
I'm not saying that it's not an economic
But
big
it's
part of our
also-
economic
It's
policy
also
in the
good
U.S.,
in the sense
but
that it's a great first job. You learn, like, if you mess up at McDonald's,
That's true. I like that argument.
but here,
where else do we want? It doesn't matter
here's the
because
thing.
you
Here's
could argue
where-
the food was already messed up in the first place. You learn math, you learn time management,
But
you
here's the
learn
thing, I would
all
say-
of these
I would
skills.
say
You
that
want someone just
those-
working at the bank at their first job?
those first jobs, this is probably where I spin off into education. I think we should be doing more of apprenticeship and things like that. You should be learning things even when you're young. Hopefully.
But I think that's where you get those skills.
Yeah, you get
And
a
I think-
job.
I think
You
as
learn time
well,
management.
Those jobs help as well with a lot of the minimum wage factors that we have economically. Like, people say, well, we should keep raising that minimum wage. Well, I think it's a good first job for a 16-year-old. Do I think you should be there forever? I think that's where the minimum wage argument comes in, is that no, you shouldn't be there for 20, 30 years working a minimum wage job. You should be moving up. You should be getting new jobs and getting promotions and working hard. And I think they are good for 16, 17-year-olds.
But imagine if your first job was at a lumber yard, right? You start down and you start to learn how to work with lumber and blah, blah, blah. The move up process is a lot easier. I think this is why people get
can move up
stuck.
at McDonald's.
This is why people get stuck in the gap. They think cashier at McDonald's was supposed to be my forever, or it is supposed to be. Let's up minimum wage. And that's the argument. Let's
don't
up
think- I
minimum
don't think
wage because
anybody-
I should be able to live off of this job.
I don't think any
I don't think
16, 17-year-old says this is my life. I think I would agree when the 35-year-old goes to work at McDonald's, yes, that's then your case. But the 16, 17, 18-year-old, firstly, the fact that a kid that age is looking for a job tells me they have ambition, they have initiative, they've got some. I would venture to say that if you worked at McDonald's at 16, by the time you're 35, you're probably pretty well off. Would be my guess.
I don't know. I know a lot of people that have worked at fast food, and I would say the majority of them continue in that same level of work. And that's not I'm not trying to knock anybody for it, but I'm saying you get stuck in the holding pattern. But if you're in a job, start at a job that automatically has growth, right? The carpenter, you start at the bottom and automatically have growth.
But there's growth at McDonald's. You can become manager. You could there's growth there.
Yeah, but it's limited. It's limited.
So
how many
your growth is limited in any place you work.
how many managers could one McDonald's have?
Well, you would think you go from manager to then you go up and you could become corporate.
yeah, but it becomes like a pyramid, right?
But
The
that's
bottom,
everywhere.
The bottom is big.
Same thing
and
at
the
that
top-
lumber yard. You can only get so high at the lumber yard.
Yeah, but how
it's
many?
the same argument.
How many carpenters are there just in Franklin County alone?
I don't know.
Right, you would have hundreds, thousands, right?
Do we want thousands of carpenters?
Yeah, because you say Joe is terrible at it. Kevin's a little better. I'll go to Kevin, right? Kevin's not as good as Fred. but Fred costs too much, right? So it gives you a little bit of wiggle room.
But that same thing happens at McDonald's. The
I would say-
McDonald's on this street
I'm
is better.
agreeing.
Like, we all know there's good McDonald's and bad McDonald's, just like good Chipotle, bad Chipotles.
I'm
right?
agreeing.
I try to go in when Susan works because she gives a bigger scoop. Like, that's everywhere, though.
Listen, I'm agreeing that it would be devastating to the economy, yes. But in terms of flourishing in a society, you don't need it.
The way we've kind of constructed a good economy, I would
Again,
say,
I
is
think
a good piece of.
Picking the top three and the bottom
Yeah,
three,
we're
you,
not-
you automatically have shit like
Yeah.
nuclear bombs or something have hit, and we are picking just the top three.
Yeah.
So in terms of just the bottom
so
three,
we're agreeing there, but I don't think it's as like. I guess maybe we're finding every job kind of has some value.
And this is the doctrine of vocation.
Every
that
job has value.
job is very important. And, the Reformers talked about this, right? The Reformers talked about,
Of course.
during the Protestant Reformation, they talked about how, regardless of your job, it didn't matter. You could serve God in your job in the secular workforce, or whether you had, a clergy type job as well. And, before that time, the thought was that only those working as clergy members or as missionaries could honor God in their jobs. But after the Reformation, they established, look, no, you can serve God as a fast food worker,
100%.
as a garbage man, as a judge, as even a pro athlete. And I think that is a very important doctrine that we should even remember today, especially, again, with this idea that you can determine what jobs are essential and what jobs are not essential. That's just a bizarre idea to me that really we need to discard that thinking from our culture.
Yeah, I think every job. I think again because you can make an argument all these jobs are in
there's
some way, shape, or form. So.
there's that argument that you need everybody. It takes a community.
Yeah.
If we could end on a high note, spur of the moment here. If you, no restrictions in life, what would be the job that you take? Even if it paid no money, even if that's what I would do forever.
Yeah, that's a great question. My wife and I talk about this all the time. We say, if we lived multiple lives, hey, I would go do this.
Yep.
I would go do that. I always wanted to be a pilot. I always wanted to be a pilot, flying planes. I just think it would be so cool one morning to be in Washington, D.C., and then to fly to the West Coast, to L.A., and then come home and be like, yeah, I had a great shift today.
Yeah.
That would just be a great day. That'd be so cool to me.
Yeah.
What are you thinking?
I mean, not as ideal, but I would love to be the head coach of the New York Knicks. I'm not gonna.
You coming for Mike Brown?
Yeah, I mean, big win last night, but that would be awesome.
Yeah. I think all of us, even though they were at the bottom of my list, I think we all have an element where we would love to be, the pro athlete or the pro coach or whatever, something like that.
And I guess in a more, if we're taking a more realistic job, probably a professor, probably just a full-time professor
Interesting.
at a university.
Another one, I tell you, I do this exercise kind of all the time. But another one that I was thinking, when I was growing up, this is a good question as well. What did you want to be when you grew up? When I was growing up, I read this, they have those mini kid biographies on significant people, and you read about, what they did, and it's just got all these pictures and stuff like that. Growing up, I always wanted to be the next Billy Sunday. Billy Sunday,
changing the world.
I thought he was so cool in the sense that during the week he was playing baseball. I was like, man, that's so cool. And then on Sundays he would go preach this fiery sermon, and he was all riled up, and you see him, the pictures of him storming all over the pulpit. I thought that was so cool. That's who I wanted to be when I grew up. But anyways,
Hitting it out of the park everywhere.
Yeah, that's true. That's good. Station.
If I could get any job, this is gonna sound so boring, but as Corey said, I'm already a boring guy. I would love to be a diplomat. I want to go to a country and work out peace between two nations.
That's the least boring thing you said.
I just want to go in, and I want to go to a big country. I don't want to be, of, I don't know, Madagascar or something. Send me where the action is happening and bring it
You
down.
want to be the diplomat to Russia?
I'd do it.
That'd be tough. That'd be a tough one.
I'd walk in and say, "Listen here, Putin."
Yeah.
And then your head would be detached from your body.
That is true, but I realize that if they kill a diplomat, that automatically means war.
That's true.
Right? So my life
So
would
that would
matter.
be the opposite of your objective. You were there to bring peace, and you thought about war.
Say, listen, you can kill me. That is fine. But if you do, they're coming for you.
That's fair. That's fair.
Interesting.
My kid job, though, what I wanted to do was I wanted to be a firefighter. And then in high school, I went to FDNY High School, and they took us to the Rock, and things were on fire. I was like, nah, this ain't for me.
Got too real,
Yeah.
Well, that does it for us here at the Davis Download.